Welcome to the Massage Life Podcast. I'm Jordan Pearson. I'm not a registered massage therapist, but I'm here with my wonderful wife, Melissa, who is a registered massage therapist, and she's also the genius behind the Online Wellness Institute. I'm a chartered professional accountant, and today we're talking about... What are we talking about, Melissa?
Mobile massage.
Again?
Part 2.
This is what we talked about last time.
Yes.
I love that we changed it up, that I got to do the intro. That was fun for me.
I let Jordan. It took him a few times.
No, the first 5 takes were perfect.
Terrible.
You were judging me the whole way. Okay,
You did good. Good job.
Let's continue.
Okay, so yeah, last episode we talked about mobile massage. We talked a little bit about safety, common reservations people have, kind of why I got started doing mobile massage.
Right.
So I thought we'd continue the conversation and today talk about the logistics behind mobile massage. Just like kind of walk people through how I do
like
it.
Like how to drive a car?
Yeah. First you put the key in.
The gas pedal's on the right. The brake is on the left.
I had a moment the other day when we were driving to Edmonton where I was like, I had it on cruise control. And then I went to go brake and I had a split second where I was like, which pedal is the gas one? It was a weird moment.
You probably shouldn't admit to these things.
I was like really...
People aren't going to think that we're a reputable company.
You've never had that moment before for like a split second?
No, I'm perfect. I don't think I have. I honestly don't think I have.
It was kind of scary for a second. It was like literally like a split, like just a moment. Then I was like, okay, I was fine. But
right.
Because I was on cruise control because my feet were off the pedals. And then I was like, huh. And then I was like, huh. But we didn't die, so it was good.
And the poor rabbit you ran over didn't make it
because
you weren't able to.
I didn't run over a rabbit. It was fine.
Okay, let's continue. So what are we talking about today? So, the logistics.
We're not
right.
teaching people how to drive a car. Okay, the logistics. So last episode, I talked about how I like to have a tight radius, like how I don't like to travel too far.
Right.
And you were like, yeah, but people could pay extra and you could go outside that radius and that would be fine. I said, yeah, but I don't want to spend my day driving. Like, I just like to spend my day massaging. I don't want to be driving for 45 minutes.
Right.
The other reason, though, and I didn't really talk about this, the other reason why I like to keep a tight parameter is because it makes it easier to book. So say I do that. Say I charge an extra even $100 to go drive to the other end of the city or whatever. The problem with that is it creates a hassle with scheduling. Right now, I know that I have to only drive 10 minutes, maximum 20 minutes. Whereas if I now have to drive 45 minutes, I'm going to have to put more buffer time between appointments.
Right.
And that creates a problem, especially because I utilize online booking. And so if I have all these different travel times, it just messes up my scheduling. Whereas right now, I have a set time in between each appointment, and it makes my day easier.
Right. Because you would then have to be more intentional about looking at who's booking, where they are.
Yes.
And then you have to, if so-and-so wants to book after that person, well, you're going to need this much time.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, what if that person is close to that person? I don't want too much time. What if they live across the street? Now I'm going to have to put in, shorten that time.
And it kind of defeats the whole purpose for online booking, which is to save you time, not having to worry about things.
Oh, I have to call that person to adjust their time. Oh, I have to move that appointment. I'm going to have to contact that person, see if they can move up half an hour.
So for you, you've kept a tight radius so that you know that you'll never have to travel more than 10, 20 minutes. And so the buffer time between each appointment is always enough.
It's a set time.
Right.
Yeah.
It's always enough time to ensure that you'll get there.
Right. I don't have to adjust it.
Okay. Because it would be a pain if you worked in Calgary and you had a client in the Northeast and then your next client is all the way in the Southwest, right?
Yeah, it would be trickier for sure. So I don't know how those people navigate that. There's a few ideas, which maybe I'll talk about in a sec. But
and it also it also wouldn't be fair, right? Because if you're in the Northeast, okay, and then your next client is in the Southwest, and what you're gonna charge that client more because you have to travel farther, but it's like you're only traveling farther because you're currently in the Northeast. You know what I mean?
Right.
Does that kind of make sense? And so
your starting point isn't always the same.
Yeah, your starting point isn't always the same. And so it's not really fair that you're punishing that one client just because the client before that is in the Northeast, which is so much farther away. Whereas I don't know if I'm making any sense. But
Yeah, but you probably wouldn't do it like that though. If you had it set up that way, you would have like a radius within your home. Like within my home, 10 kilometers is this much. 20
Right.
kilometers is this much.
Okay.
But I see what you're saying as far as like, well, that person might not be 20 kilometers away because you might already be in the Southwest.
Right.
Or like, yeah, that person's within your radius, but the person before them might have been not.
Well, and
It's
you
like,
don't.
It's really it messes it up. It's
Yeah,
confusing.
the thing is, right? Like, Chestermere is what 25,000 people,
Yeah, not even.
and you're so busy
Yeah.
with that many people, and there's a lot of RMTs in Chestermere. You're not the only one.
Right.
It's like you're working in Calgary. You don't need to put your radius around the
Yes.
whole city.
No.
Right.
I think you pick a few communities, or you pick a quadrant. You're like, I only service southeast or whatever,
Right.
and that's where you stick, and it just makes your life so much easier. It's really my biggest recommendation. And at the beginning, when you first start out, you're going to be a little bit slower, and you might be tempted to take these clients from all over the place. But by the time you get busy in a few months, you're going to regret that.
Right.
Even I regretted that. So yes, I worked just within Chestermere, but shortly after I started working, I was like, I could be like a little bit busier. And so I decided to work at a nearby town, Langdon, and it's 20-minute drive. Whereas within Chestermere, it's only within a 10-minute.
20-minute one way.
20 minutes one way, yeah. And that did help as far as I got a few more clients. But then now the driving, now it makes it more confusing. So currently within Chestermere, I put 45 minutes in between each client. So that gives me, I factor about 15 minutes to pack up, 15 minutes to drive, 15 minutes to set up. It's just
Right.
kind of like my rough estimate. But driving out to Langdon, I have to factor in more time. So for those clients, I have to put an hour between. So it's a pain. So now I kind of regret it. So, and then as I built up more and more clientele within Chestermere, it's like, I really don't need those clients in Langdon anymore.
But
And
you
so
still love them,
I kind
just
of
in
regret
case.
it. Yeah, in case any of them are listening. I still love them. And I still go out there.
Right.
And I actually adjusted my pricing so that, not to deter people, but just to compensate, I guess, for my time to
Right.
drive out there. So I charge an extra, it's just $10 per visit
Right.
to travel out to Langdon. And yes, I have to factor in an extra 15 minutes to go out there. And so it does make it a little bit trickier. But what I do for my online booking is, and I think most online booking systems, you can set it up this way. It's just a post-treatment buffer time. And so right now I have 45 minutes in between. So if their massage is an hour long, it's from 9 to 10. There's a buffer time until 10:45. The next person can't start until 10:45. And if it's a Langdon, then it can't start until 11.
Right.
So it's just this like buffer time in between. And that works out really well. Because I know a lot of mobile massage therapists are like, well, I would never utilize online booking because that just wouldn't work. How would I do the buffer time? It's like, you can factor that in. It automatically blocks it off for you.
Right.
So I don't have to go in and put in buffer time. I'm like, oh, someone booked online. Quick, I better go in and add buffer time. Like, it's automatically booked into the appointment time.
That's a feature in Jane.
That's a feature in
right?
Jane.
Not every.
I think most systems do, because most clinics you work at, you have to have a buffer time, right?
Right.
Any clinic I've ever worked at, you either have 10 or 15 minutes in between to flip over the table and what's the proper term? Like change, flip the table over here. I'm so angry. Change the table. That's a proper term. I like it. Flip the table. Flip over the table?
No, that's what you do when you're angry and you're coming to.
You know what I mean? To change the sheets.
Okay. Continue.
Right. Okay. You know what I'm saying. You still need
Yes.
15 minutes in between to change the sheets and to give your client home care, whatever. There's break time in between. And so that's how they're set up. You can always put in buffer time in between.
Right. Okay.
The only thing I haven't been able to figure out in Jane, and maybe someone else has been able to figure it out, or it's a different feature out of a different program, is pre-treatment buffer time.
Okay. I see.
Right? So, for example, going out to Langdon, if I need to drive further out, sometimes it is tricky. I might not have enough. It cuts it close sometimes driving there, because I can't add pre-treatment buffer time. Only
Yeah.
post-treatment.
That's a feature they need to add.
Yeah. Maybe it's in there. I haven't figured it out yet. So yeah, that's how I still utilize online booking. And 45 minutes works for me. I know some people like longer than that, but it's tricky because you don't want to leave this huge buffer in between, and then you can't see as many people in a day, and it becomes a really costly way to work. You
Right.
have to keep it as tight as possible.
Right.
I considered shortening it even to half an hour for a while, and I could probably do it, but it'd be cutting it really close. Like it wouldn't factor in for any traffic emergencies, or if a client was like talking my ear off when I'm trying to leave, or if we had issues with payment, that credit card's not working, or I'm trying to set up some direct billing.
Or a client falls asleep on the table.
I'm like, wake up!
Whenever,
and then I have to flip the table.
yeah, whenever a therapist, yeah, exactly. Whenever a therapist says, okay, take as much time as you need to get up, it's like, okay, I'm just going to lay here for this hour. Is that okay? Can I do that?
I was actually laughing with someone just yesterday, I think, because like, I usually say that I've changed what I say. I don't say take your time getting up, because usually I'm in like an ensuite bathroom or something, and I'm like dee dee dee, like just waiting awkwardly in the bathroom for them, because like usually I'm the one to enter back into the room versus them leaving the room, as in a clinic, right? So I'm just like awkwardly standing in their bathroom waiting for them. Sometimes I'll have them shout out like, okay, I'm ready. But I've changed my wording from take your time getting up to get up nice and slow.
Right.
To still be like, yeah, I still need you to get up. Like, don't just like chill all day, because I have places to go.
Like, we done.
We're done. You can, get up, please. I need to pack up my table. So I say, get up nice and slow. But I was laughing with someone because I always say that. I say, get up nice and slow. And then I like wash my hands. And I've gotten really bad about like, I just like bust back in like so fast. And like, to me, it feels like a long time. I'm like, I should probably give people more time. I mean, I don't just bust in. I always knock. And wait for a response before I walk back in. I'm not just like,
have you ever walked in on someone?
No, I did have someone a while ago. They said, I said, so I knock and I say, is it okay if I come back in? That's always the phrase I say. Is it okay if I come back in? And they were like, what did they say? They said, I guess so. or no, like they said, sure, if you want. And I was like, what does that mean? I was like, so then I hesitated. I was like, are you sure? Yeah, I was like, do I want to? I was like, didn't know what to expect. I was like, are you still like naked on the table? I don't know. And so I just like waited another second. I was like, are you sure? Are you sure you're okay? They're like, yeah. And they were just like taking their time. I think they just had like a tank top on or something like underneath. They were still like putting their other shirt on, or I don't know. They were in like some state of like half dressed. And I was like, this is weird. They're like, yeah, you can come in. I don't care. I was like,
that's so funny.
But yeah, I should probably leave you.
That's my
a
biggest
few more
fear.
Seconds. I know. We always say, take your time. And people are like, okay. And then for me, like when I'm the patient, as soon as they close the door, I like jump off the table and like get dressed so fast. Because I don't want someone to
getting on the table
and
too,
getting on the table too.
Right?
Yeah.
Because like that TikTok that you did of like, which one are you? Like getting on the
table.
Yeah. I'm the speedster for sure. Because I had one experience where a therapist like barged in, like sort of half knocked.
Yes. They do the
like,
half, they knock as they're opening the door.
And it's like, don't do that. And I was like, thankfully I was like just getting under the table. And it was fine. I mean, I keep my underwear on. It's not a big deal, right? But it's just, it's weird.
I try to give people like a little bit of extra time.
And then the worst is the ones that give you too much time.
Oh yeah, I've had that where I'm like,
it's like,
did they forget about me? Like, what is happening right now? And I'm like, you're eating into my massage time. Like, come back in.
They're just crushing a bag of Doritos in the next room.
Yeah.
They come back with Cheeto dust on their fingers.
Ew.
What kind of massage is this?
Exfoliating massage. It's a sugar scrub.
The Cheeto dust sugar scrub massage.
You can patent that when you're...
Why do I even come to these?
I don't know.
Right?
You just come up with these like weird ideas. Cheeto dust.
Yeah, Cheeto dust.
Like, you take me off on these tangents, I swear.
I'm sorry.
Cheetos.
Proceed. Okay.
Where were we?
You were flipping the table.
No, that was a while ago. Okay,
pricing.
So the 45 minutes in between. No, so just another piece of advice is like, you do have to get pretty quick with the setup and the takedown. I mean, that's obviously common sense. You're not going to be wanting to take all day. You get into a routine, right? Like the first few times I did it, it took me a long time because I was like just uncomfortable and unfamiliar with it. But
right.
The biggest thing that you can do is just like have a set routine, try not to bring too much stuff, and like be pretty quick with it. And even if the person's still in the room while I'm doing the setup, like I'll even start to do some of my intake while I'm setting up. Like obviously it's hard to do like range of motion assessments or anything, but you can just talk to them like, hey, how are you feeling? Like, how'd you feel after last massage or whatever? Like do a bit of your intake while you're setting up the table, and that just speeds up the process. And then as far as taking down, again, just like have a system for quick takedown. And then I try not to dilly-dally at the door, right? Like I try to take fast payments, whether I do like my direct billing's really fast now with Jane because it like directly integrates with TELUS eClaims. Like I can do the direct billing really fast, or often I'll just do the direct billing at home afterwards, keeping their credit card on file so you can just like take it super fast. I don't know. There's ways where you can just like get out the door pretty fast. Not
Right.
that you want to be like, see you later, and like zoom out of there.
Yeah, and going back to what we talked about in the last episode about payment, right? Again, make it as easy as possible for people to pay you.
Right.
Right? And so if you're fumbling with e-transfers... and they're
E-transfer
like,
takes a while. They're like, what's your email address? And my email address is like so long. And they're like, wait, what was it? And then you're waiting for it to come through. And it's just like...
It's just like, can I just
not?
leave? It's
Yeah.
like, I'll send you an invoice, you pay the invoice, let's move on with our lives.
Or just
and
do
get
like
on.
the quick, like
Right?
the Square... If you use Square, like just like swipe your card, see you later. Like,
Yeah.
get out of here.
Right, right.
Just figure out like how can you cut down that time, because it matters. You need to keep that time in between as short as possible.
Right.
Yeah. So the next thing I wanted to chat about quickly is pricing. I think that's a big hot topic for mobile massage. I've seen it brought up a lot, and I guess a lot of people are raising their rates right now just because of inflation and stuff. And so there's a big debate on how much it should cost for a mobile massage. And of course, there's not one right answer to that. And I think it really depends on demographics.
Right.
That's for, whether you're working out of your home or working in a McDonald's, no, brick and mortar clinic.
Right.
That's going to depend where you live, right? The cost that you're charging. So personally, I charge $20 more than the going rate for an in-clinic massage.
And what if your clinic is made out of sticks? It's like a hut on a beach, right? It wouldn't be brick and mortar. Then it would be a stick and sand.
What is this, the Three Little Pigs?
I don't know. Continue. What were you saying?
Thanks for this color commentary.
Yeah, so brick and mortar. If you're
Okay.
if you're in a clinic,
So I charge $20 more than the going rate, because I thought, as I tried to put myself in the shoes of the client, and I thought, how much would I be willing to pay extra for someone to come to my home versus me just going to the local clinic?
right?
And for me, that amount was $20. Maybe for someone else, it's more. I don't know. I'm kind of a cheap person. Like, I probably wouldn't pay more than $20.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe for someone else, it is worth it. It's worth $100 to them. I don't know.
You're not cheap. You're classy. You're just frugal. You're
Frugal.
careful.
Okay. Careful. I like
Yeah.
that. I'm careful with my money.
Uh-huh.
So for me, I don't think I would pay more than that.
Right.
But I think there are people who would. So you don't have to do what I'm doing. You do you. If you charge whatever you think you can, you have to charge with. I mean, you should probably give some advice here. What you think is
Well, I think
reasonable.
you run the risk of pricing yourself out of the market, right? If so your rate is $20 higher than a clinic rate. Someone may price themselves at $40 above the clinic rate, which in Chestermere, so you charge $110 for a 60-minute massage
Yeah.
for mobile. So the average clinic rate in Chestermere is $90.
Yeah. I've been keeping my eyes on it, and I haven't seen any yet increase recently.
Yeah.
If they do, I probably will follow suit.
Right. I just can't. I don't know that I could pay $130
Right.
for someone to come to my home.
Right.
And so going back to what I was saying, you can price yourself at whatever you want to price yourself at. But if people aren't going to pay that rate, you're going to price yourself out of the market and you're not going to be busy, right? And so it's supply and demand. What are people willing to pay for your service?
Right.
And if it's not $130, then you're not going to have customers. You may have a handful of people that come and see you. And so I think a good piece of advice for someone who is doing mobile massage and they're struggling with, keeping their schedule full, well, look at your price, right? What are other mobile massage therapists charging?
Right.
Does it make sense for you to be charging what it is that you're charging,
Right.
right? The reason why you may not be busy is because you've priced yourself out of the market.
Yeah.
Or it may be because you don't do online booking, or you're taking payments only by e-transfer or cash or whatever. There's
Maybe
lots
you
of
give a
reasons.
terrible
Or
massage.
maybe you give a terrible massage. Maybe your name is Jordan Pearson and you're an accountant and you decided after a midlife crisis that you were going to become a registered massage therapist. And
I still think you would be a great massage therapist.
are you kidding? Whenever I give you a massage, I just instantly get bored. Like,
People often ask me that. They're like, "Don't you get bored?" I don't.
I don't know what I would think
I
of.
like it. This is where I come up with like weird TikTok ideas and stuff, though. No. You're supposed to be thinking about your clients, okay?
right.
No, it's not for everyone, and that's fine. That's what makes the world go round. I have no idea how you do what you do.
Me
you
neither.
you show me
neither.
your like dumb Excel spreadsheets, and that bores me to tears. So this is why everyone's different, because the world needs lots of different types of careers.
I don't like what I do.
Okay, well, go have your midlife crisis and figure something else out then.
I need to grow a beard and get a motorcycle.
You
right?
should get a motorcycle. Okay, so pricing.
Good pricing.
Yeah, I think what some people get stuck in with mobile massage is they think, okay, this is going to take me like a 1 hour massage is almost going to take me 2 hours, right? Because you have to drive there, set up, do the massage, take down, and drive home. And that's going to take me 2 hours. So I have to charge double what a clinic charges. I think that's what people get stuck in their heads about.
Okay.
And I don't think that's true for a few reasons. One, if you're now working for yourself versus working for someone else, you're automatically making more.
Right.
Right? When I was working for a clinic, I made about $55 per massage.
Right.
Right? So I'm automatically making double when I'm working for myself. Also, the other thing I wanted to talk about was catering to families. Right? Like I cater to a lot of families, and so I try to do back-to-back massages in one home.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm way cutting down on the driving.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you can do things in your practice to cater to families, so one thing I've done is really tried to establish myself as a pediatric massage therapist. I love working with kids. I've learned how to work with kids, and I try to market that, right? So that I can see a mom and her kids.
Right.
Or parents and their kids. I also try to diversify my skills so that I, can cater towards a husband and a wife or whatever situations. I try to advertise that, like, hey, I'll come see your whole family, and I make easy online booking for families.
Right.
So a lot of people struggle with that, and I've figured out an easy way to set up online booking for families, because a lot of people, they'll offer it, but they say you have to contact me to book it.
But people don't want to.
People don't want to contact you, so they won't.
Yeah, they want to book online.
They want to book online. And so what I've done in Jane, and you can probably do this in any system, is you set up an appointment that is called 2 60 minutes back to back, or whatever. You can call it whatever you want, but you say it's a group booking, and it blocks off, 2 hours and 15 minutes. I also include a buffer time in between the appointments so that I have enough time to get that person off the table, do the assessment with the next person, and get them on the table. Mm-hmm. And so it blocks off enough time for both appointments and the travel buffer time. But it's just a placeholder. So they book that, and then I notice that booking is in place, and then I have to go in and manually change it to 2 separate appointments, because each person needs a separate chart, separate appointment, separate billing.
Right.
So you have to go in and break it down into 2 separate appointments yourself, which only takes a minute. It's not a big deal.
Easy.
Yeah. So I'd really recommend doing that. As well as when you're doing mobile, you have some expenses, obviously the travel expenses, your vehicle expenses, your fuel and your car, right? But you don't have the expense of a place to set up. Right? You don't have to pay lease on a space.
Right.
Your expenses are less in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it'd be interesting to kind of do an analysis, what costs more.
Ooh, do I get a bust open a spreadsheet? Is that what you're
Don't
telling me?
get too excited.
Oh, that sounds exciting. Let me just put on my glasses here.
Right, but I would assume that the costs are less than
Yes.
than having a clinic space where people come to you.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you have to factor that into your pricing as well. Okay, what else did I want to talk about? So that was kind of it about the logistics side of things, unless you had anything else you wanted to ask me about or pipe in any more jokes from you.
No, I did have a thought, but I
Okay.
can't remember. Something we were going to talk about in the last episode, but we didn't.
Oh.
About safety. You remember we were talking
Yeah.
about safety and how...
Oh, yes, we didn't mention one thing.
Yeah. So going to other people's homes versus having people come to your home.
Right.
Right? When you think about it, I think it's safer for you to go to somebody else's home than for you to have someone else come to your home.
Right.
Right? Because Joe Blow that comes to your house, right? You have no idea who that person is. Or maybe you do, right? But you don't...
Hopefully I have some idea.
Right, yeah. But
they could be lying about a lot of things.
they could be lying about their address. They could be lying about their name. They could be lying
Phone
about
number.
a lot of things. They could be lying about everything, right? And so there's not a lot of recourse in terms of if that person does anything bad, right? If you don't know who they are, like, where do you even begin?
Yeah. Yeah, you go to the police and you're like, I have no information. They're like, cool.
Or the information I have is not even accurate.
Right.
Yeah, like, here's the phone number, but it's not even active anymore, right?
Yeah.
And so, and then I think one way around that is you make sure you get ID,
Yeah.
right? Like a photocopy of their driver's license or whatever, so that you have proof of identification.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I know that can be forged, but just one more thing that can help you. But if you're doing mobile massage, like, this is the person's house. Mm-hmm. This is where they live. Unless they broke into this house and, like, booked a massage there, that would be insane. Right? Like, yes, this is my house. Right? But it's not going to happen. And so in a lot of ways, I think it's safer.
Yeah,
to do
there's a
mobile
layer of
massage.
security there.
Yeah.
It's like,
'Cause it's
I
like-
know where you live.
I know where you live.
Like, I
Yeah.
can drag the police here and
Right.
be like, this is the house.
This person did this to me in this
this
house.
house. Yeah.
Right. And so, anyways.
Yeah, we forgot to mention that last time. And that's the main thing I think about when people ask, well, don't you feel unsafe here? And it's like, no, I don't.
Right. Right.
I mean, I'm still careful, but I go in there with confidence because I have, my protocols in place. And yeah, I'm in their home.
right.
Totally. Yes, thanks for reminding me about that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so the one thing I wanted to talk about, kind of changing gears a little bit, is how to be a gracious guest. I really do consider myself a guest in their home.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's really an honor to be invited into someone's home. I especially found it an honor to be invited into people's homes over the pandemic. Right? Like, people weren't inviting their very own parents, their brothers and sisters to their home, yet they would invite me as, a wellness practitioner come into their home. And it would honestly, sometimes almost bring me to tears. Like, thank you for trusting me and for inviting me over.
No, that makes sense. I think I love my massage therapist more than your family.
Rude.
Your mom listens to this, so
She's going to send you an angry text
yeah,
now.
now she knows. Love
yeah.
you, Mom.
So I really try to just be gracious. And the things that I do are, one, I supply everything. I don't expect
Everything.
Everything. I
Yes.
don't expect people to provide me a chair. I don't expect people to provide me pillows, sheets, music. I bring everything. I even bring a little Ziploc bag to put my Lysol wipe in so I don't have to bother them about where their garbage is. I mean, if it's right there, I'll put it in there. But if I can't, I'm not going to go moseying around their house to find a garbage can.
Yeah.
Like,
you even bring paper towel to dry your hands. Right.
No, I
Well,
bring-
that's mostly
I-
so you don't
no,
have to
I-
dry your hands on
I bring a towel.
Right, okay.
Yes, I do
You
bring my own
something.
towel. And yes, that's more so because it's like, I have no idea. Did you wipe your bum with that towel? I don't know. Like, gross.
Where's this towel bin?
Where is this towel bin?
Yeah.
And also sometimes people don't have towels in their bathrooms. I don't know why. Like, they've just washed it or
That's
something.
because they don't wash their hands.
I don't know. It's gross.
Yeah.
I always bring my own. And yeah, so it's more so for me, not so they don't have to worry about having a towel in there. But also what I do with my towel is after I wash my hands, because I do make a mess sometimes in their teeny tiny bathroom sink, because we have to wash up all the way to our elbows, right? And sometimes I get water everywhere. Like, not crazy, but like little driplets of water on the counter. And I even take my towel, and when I'm done, I wipe off all the water droplets off the counter.
Right.
It's like little things of just like, I want to leave without a trace. It's like hiking or whatever, where you're supposed to like leave only footprints. It's like, yeah, I don't even leave footprints, right? Like, I
Yeah.
leave nothing.
Like you vacuum yourself out of their house.
Can you imagine? Sorry, I bring like a teeny tiny like
Like little
handheld
whistle.
vacuum.
I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna see myself out here. So what are you doing? You're insane.
Yes, I want to do that. Next April Fools, I'm gonna do that. No, but I try to like really clean up after myself. This is another weird thing that I do. I try to do it most times. Is I try not to. This maybe sounds crazy, but so I bring a little tiny like container, and it has my oils in it and my little clock, my essential oils, and it's like a little carrying case. And usually I use it as a little surface to set my stuff on. And if I'm setting up in a bedroom, I do not place that on their bed. Right? The bed is like their space.
And yeah, it's a sacred space.
And so I can't imagine. There's so many times on this podcast where I say, okay.
Okay. I'm sorry.
So I try not to put my stuff in places where it's just like, they might not want that there.
Correct.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just try to be careful of my surroundings.
Yeah. God, don't ask me for my pillow.
Yes, the pillow. Yeah. Like,
It
you know
really
what?
bothers me.
So I used to when I did prenatal massage. So I don't have a prenatal pillow system. I just bring 3 pillows with me. And it's kind of a pain when you do mobile massage because it's just a lot of stuff, right? And so I
Yeah.
was like, I'm not going to bring all my pillows. I bring one all the time for the ankles. And so I was like, I'll bring one and I'll ask my client for 2. Right? So I did that. Or maybe I brought 2 and I just needed 1. I can't remember. So I went to someone's house and I was like, can I bother you for an extra pillow? And the look on, so it was a pregnant woman, and the look on her, so we were downstairs, the look on her face when she was like so annoyed to have to go upstairs and get another pillow.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that was bad. And she was like super nice. She didn't say anything, but I'm really good at reading body language, and I think most massage therapists are. And I was like, nope, that was bad.
Yeah.
She was annoyed. She had to go all the way upstairs and get a pillow, and now I might get oil on it. She's going to have to wash it.
Yeah.
She's pregnant. That's the last thing she wants to
Yeah.
do. Like, just come here. You set up your stuff. I'm
Yeah.
paying you over $100 for you to come here. Like, I'm not giving you a pillow.
Right. If I go to a clinic
Yeah.
for a prenatal massage, I know I'm not pregnant, right? But if I go to a clinic,
Are you sure?
I mean, I know that may be a surprise. So if I go to a clinic, it's not like they call you up beforehand and say, can you bring a pillow with you? We're going to need that pillow. No, you're going to supply everything.
That's part of the deal.
Yeah. And so I'm paying this premium for you to come into my house because I expect that you're going to supply all of those things.
Right.
I don't care if it's a pain.
Yeah.
That's part of the job.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And if these things are becoming a burden to you as a massage therapist, then maybe you're not charging enough. Or maybe this isn't the gig for you.
Right.
If you hate this and you're just like dreading bringing this stuff to the client's house, like maybe you shouldn't be doing this then.
Yeah.
Or
If
you
you have a
charge
good system,
you
though.
charge enough. If you have a good system, it's really not that big of a deal.
No.
The pillows, I just have I just stick them all in and I just bring it. Like you'll get used to it after a while.
Yeah. Well, it's not like every client is a prenatal
Right.
client, right? They're one in a blue moon.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, so the pillows, what else? Sheets. I've had people say like they make their clients provide their
That's
own
insane.
sheets.
That is insane.
I think it's crazy.
I would tell the massage therapist to leave.
You can see yourself in it.
What?
Yeah.
I would never do that, but I would just be so annoyed.
Obviously, they make that arrangement ahead of time. It's not like they show up at your house and they're like, oh, bring down a set of sheets. Like, they would talk to you about that ahead of time. And I know a lot of people started doing that over COVID because they're like, oh, well, I don't want to, like, bring in sheets that might be carrying COVID. And it's like, why would your sheets be carrying COVID? Like, have you not washed them? Like,
Yeah.
that shouldn't be a concern, first of
Right.
all. Second, you're not licking the sheets. Like, they're not going in your mouth.
I lick all of your sheets after I fold them.
The massage therapist. I mean the client. Well, I guess either. Nobody is licking the sheets. You're so weird. Right? So it's a very low risk thing over COVID. But anyways,
Right.
COVID aside, so I think people got in the habit of making people provide them over COVID, and then they're like, oh, I'm just going to continue doing that because I don't like doing laundry and it's easier for me and
Right.
whatever. But the reason, again, it's like I want to make things as easy as possible. Second, people don't have the proper sheets. Like, I like to
Yeah.
have a fitted sheet.
Who has
that's
a
like
face cradle?
And who has a face cradle cover? Maybe they still, I don't know, I want to talk to these people more. Maybe they bring face cradle covers.
But if you're
I
going to
don't
bring
know.
that, bring everything.
Yeah, if you're going to bring
It's
that, you bring
not like
everything.
it takes a ton of
Yeah.
space.
Or they're using a towel over the face cradle thing, which is the worst. It like shifts and then the vinyl's on your face. And it's just like, no.
Yeah, just do it right.
It's just not, no, just don't.
I worry that we're making enemies by all of the
Maybe.
things that we're
I
saying.
know.
But it's like
I'm opinionated, yeah.
But this is kind of an interesting perspective because from your perspective as a registered massage therapist, where you have had clients who are visibly upset because you asked them for these things,
Right.
Right, and then from my perspective as a client, right, these are things that I care about.
Right.
I don't want to have to provide a pillow. You know, it's the pillow from my bed that maybe I haven't washed it in a
You
couple weeks.
drooled on
You know,
it.
maybe I drooled on it last night or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of a private space. Going back to you
Yeah.
not putting stuff on people's beds, it's like,
Yeah, they
no,
don't want their
I'm-
private pillow.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is my pillow for my night time.
Yeah. And what's interesting is a lot of people say things like, well, no one's complained about it. It's like, yes,
Yeah,
because
because who
people are
does?
nice.
Yes.
We're in Canada. Everyone's nice about everything.
Right.
We're not going to say anything about it. You know what we're going to do? We're just not going to rebook.
Right.
And so, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't think that it's fine just because no one's complained about it.
Right.
And
Because I've never complained about
I've
a
never-
lot of things.
Oh yeah, there's tons of things I haven't complained about.
And
I'm
things
just-
that
Even I'm that
are
person. that-
perfectly reasonable to complain
Yeah.
about.
Even like the time I went for a massage when I was pregnant, and I was like, actually I complained after, but I said, the only thing I really want worked on is my back. And then she massaged everything except for my back. And I was like, seriously?
How do you massage everything except your back?
Because she didn't want to put me in sideline. She didn't know how to do sideline massage. I was pregnant.
Okay.
She just had me supine the whole time. You know what supine is, right?
No. Supine.
Face up.
I'm hungry for soup.
Oh my goodness. Anyway,
okay.
So I didn't even complain about that, right?
Right.
I did after I left. I was like, okay, I should probably say something. So I like sent an email afterwards. But I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of things that people don't complain about,
Right.
and it doesn't mean that it's not a problem. And also, I'm opinionated about these things, but I feel like I'm kind of entitled to because I am really busy, right? I've built up a successful practice, and half the time I have no idea why, honestly. But it's like these little things, I think they do matter.
People
and people
care.
continue
People
to
care.
rebook with me, and it's like they appreciate those things. I've had people say that, right? That they appreciate these things. And so I'm not just standing up on some soapbox for the heck of it. Like, I'm trying to help other practitioners create a practice that they can thrive in.
Yes.
And so
yes.
take it or leave it. But this is what's worked for me.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
speaking from an area of authority, right? Because you have seen a tremendous amount of success.
Yeah, it's been so busy.
Yeah.
P.S. If you want a job, come work with me. No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
If you honestly want to come work with me and you live nearby, come. Anyway, so the other thing I think about being a gracious guest is I try to do this thing where when I leave, I sincerely thank them for having me over. Like, I look them in the eyes and I say, thank you so much for having me over today. And like, it's a small thing, but I try to just be really grateful. Like, I pause at the door. I'm not like saying it as I'm like leaving the door and just like waving on the way out. Like, I pause and I look at them and I'm like, thank you so much. And
Right.
I really do mean that. Like, I obviously can't run my practice without my clients, and I need them. And I really do feel like it's a great honor. And so I try to express that to them verbally.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. Those are my only thoughts today.
That's it? You have
Yeah.
nothing else?
No, I feel like actually there was something else I was going to say, but now I forget what it was.
Okay.
I'm going to think about it afterwards and be like, dang it, I didn't say that thing. Oh, yeah. I've had some people... Okay, so... Yeah. So what I wanted to talk about was, do you think there's any practitioners who should not do mobile? Are there any reasons why someone would maybe not want to have a mobile practice? Because I love doing mobile. I almost think everyone should like quit their clinic and just like do mobile, because I love it so much and it works and it can be really successful. So I preach about it a lot. I'm like, yeah, go do mobile, right? Like, quit your day job and go do mobile on your own.
Right.
Do you think there's people who it's just like, maybe this isn't for them?
You're asking me?
It's a discussion we can have. Yes.
I think
if you have any thoughts.
Accountants who are having a midlife crisis and who decide to go back to
Fine. I
school
mean-
to become RMTs. Those individuals shouldn't become
There's
RMTs.
probably some accountant listening to this right now. I was like, dang it, that was my plan.
That was my plan. Hey, maybe I should go back to school.
No.
No.
Okay, the one
I don't know though.
the one thing I was thinking is kind of a dumb little thing, but if you are not okay, if you have pet allergies, good luck, because literally everyone has a dog or a cat. I didn't realize that. So like we don't have pets, but I realized doing mobile massage that literally everyone has a dog. I do think some people bought COVID dogs. Adopt? What's the proper terminology?
don't know.
Adopt a dog. A lot of people got dogs over COVID, and so maybe there's more than normal, but everyone has a pet. So if you
Right.
have pet allergies, you will struggle.
You will die.
You will literally die. So I wouldn't do it if you have that. Also, some people do have some limitations as far as carrying the table,
Yeah.
right? If you like physically struggle with lifting that, then that's going to be a challenge for you.
So like if you're like a 97-year-old grandma.
I will still be doing this when I'm 97. You just watch me.
No disrespect to any 97-year-old grandmas still practicing as RMTs. I love you.
I wonder what the oldest practicing massage therapists, like how old they are.
I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Okay, so those are maybe two limitations. Also, not everyone is cut out to be a business owner. I say that from a place of love, honestly.
Yeah.
For a long time, I didn't think I was. Like, I was like, nah, I just want to work for someone else, go in, do my work, and go home. And probably that was the case for me when I was like 21,
Right.
right? I was just like, I just want to go in, do my job, go home, and like watch The Office, right? Like, I just
Crush a bag of Cheetos.
yeah, get my Cheeto dust fingers, like,
Yeah.
like I just wasn't, my mind wasn't in it, and I just didn't care enough.
Right.
But as I got older, and I was like, I don't know. Once I was a massage therapist for longer, I was like, no, I want to do my own thing. I know how I want to run my practice. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I like that.
So maybe it's not for everyone, but you won't know until you try it.
Yeah.
That's my biggest advice. Try it. If you hate it, you could always go back to working for a clinic.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's lots of opportunities out there.
Yeah, totally. If you have any questions about becoming a mobile massage therapist, or you have any struggles, always reach out to me. I love chatting to people about this stuff. You can find us at onlinewellness.ca and Online Wellness Institute on Instagram
And Facebook.
and Facebook
And TikTok.
and TikTok.
And yeah.
Yeah.
That's all. Bye.
Bye.